Welcome to the HR Chat Show, one of the world's most downloaded and shared podcasts designed for HR pros, talent execs, tech enthusiasts, and business leaders. For hundreds more episodes and what's new in the world of work, subscribe to the show, follow us on social media, and visit hrgazette.com.
Welcome to another episode of the HR Chat Show. Hello, listeners. This is your host today, Bill Bannum. And in this episode, we're going to discuss AI, leadership, and change. My guest today is Andrea Di Vetta, lecturer in business and HRM over at Anglia Ruskin University. Andrea heads up ARU's leadership and change module. Plus, he's a past Disrupt Cambridge speaker. Andrea, my friend, how are you? Thank you for joining me.
Hello, Bill. It's my pleasure to join you today. It's lovely to talk to you. We haven't caught up for a while. We know each other quite well. We've seen each other at Disrupt HR, and we've been in so many HR conversations. So it's a pleasure for me to be here today and talk to you.
Listeners, I like Andrea. He's a pretty cool dude, and you're going to find this out now as we chat through in this episode. Andrea, why don't you start, please, by introducing yourself to our listeners, telling them a bit about your academic and career background, and also talk to them a bit about Anglia Ruskin University.
Sure. So, well, as you rightly said, Bill, I'm a lecturer in business and HRM at Anglia Ruskin University. Anglia Ruskin University has got different campuses, and I mainly work in Cambridge and Chelmsford. Indeed, as you say, I lead the module on leadership and change, and I have got sessions both in Cambridge and Chelmsford, although I'm Cambridge-based. I work in the Faculty of Business and Law within the School of Management. And I've been at ARU for the past 3 years now. So I started as an associate lecturer while I was working for a consultancy on digital transformation and change. And now I get the pleasure to apply all of my knowledge and all of my academic knowledge to teach students. And I just love it.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the HR Chat Podcast. If you enjoy the audio content we produce, you'll love our articles on the HR Gazette. Learn more at hrgazette.com. And now, back to the show.
Very good. And by the way, that comes through certainly in the talks that I've seen you do, that natural enthusiasm for what you do. So kudos to you for that. So I saw you speak at Disrupt Cambridge earlier this year, and your topic was AI adoption. Before jumping on this call with you today, I was rewatching your 5-minute talk there. Very, very good. Well done. Why don't you take a couple of minutes now and talk to me about that particular session? What were some of the hoped for learning outcomes from it? And also take some time to share your thoughts on that unique format, 5 minutes, 20 slides, 15 seconds per slide, because it ain't easy, is it?
Oh, I seem to remember it nowadays, Bill. It was the first time, so it's such an innovative format. I enjoyed it. I loved it, really. So I start from the second question, Bill, if you don't mind. I just found it a bit challenging at the beginning to prepare for it. I'm an academic, so I like to talk a lot, right? Don't I? And having 30 seconds per slide was a bit of a challenge. Plus, I was a consultant as well, so obviously I like the talking. I can't deny that. But in terms of the format, I think it is very good to sort of convey that short, sharp message to the audience. You get to hear from different experts at the same time in the same session on the same topic. So I encourage everybody to get involved in it. So do reach out to Bill or myself according to the connections if you'd like to get involved. It's so fun at the end of the day. I think it all comes down to that. So thank you very much, Bill, for the opportunity there. And when it comes to my talk, just following up on what I said earlier, I talked about AI from an adoption perspective. Having worked for 2 years in consultancy, I just see many organizations, especially SMEs, struggling with adoption. So I just thought I would talk through my experience and just trying to raise, those those instances where organizations actually fail in adopting AI. Yes, we know that AI is a big topic nowadays. I see many IT leaders getting excited about the technology and getting excited about AI, but sometimes I always like to sort of remind people that the biggest imperative is to try and understand what is the problem that they're trying to solve. Many people do get excited about the technology without understanding how they can actually implement it within their organization. So as you say, 30 seconds, in 30 seconds per slide, I just try to talk about my learning and the biggest mistakes in the adoption. And obviously that comes down to strategy, that comes down to leadership, that comes down to understanding the technology itself, or often having the right resources and capabilities, especially when it comes to SMEs. So, Bill, we've got that online, don't we? So please do go and check the recording and do connect with myself and Bill if you'd like to discuss this further.
We certainly do. So I think it's disrupthr.co/city/Cambridge. And then you can find Andrea's talk there. So please do that, listeners. You were just mentioning there about having a handle on AI within business. Hey, listen, you and I can both use a calculator, but we don't have to know our times tables. Okay, and that is that's a way that AI has been described to me several times, and I've seen that described at various different events. How important is it that senior leaders of departments, maybe at the C-suite as well, have got a good handle of capabilities of AI, or am I missing the point? Is it actually that it's there, it's designed, and it's ready just to augment what you're doing in a business? How important is it, for example, for HR managers who are concerned about biases within large language models, within generative technologies, to have a deeper learning, a deeper understanding of AI? Or should we assume that AI is doing what it's supposed to be doing?
We should really understand it well, because otherwise, what I talked about in the at the conference is that we just fail in the implementations, as is just that, and we know that the consequences are bigger than the problem sometimes. So adopting it and implementing it across the organization without really understanding the technology or understanding how to do it is one of the biggest mistakes. You mentioned there, biases, and there's a big discussions around ethics nowadays. Sometimes when it comes to leaders adopting it, we don't really know what values, what frameworks, what elements that the AI uses to produce text, to produce the resources that we asking the tool to produce for us. So I totally agree with you, and answering your questions. Yes, we need to understand it well. We need proper training within organizations to really understand how to use it. Because yes, I agree, right? It always comes down to efficiency, and we think that it makes our work, our life easier and better. We become more efficient, and we can work on multiple tasks at the same times. But I always argue that by saying, okay, but are you sure that your outputs then are the same? Okay, so is that what you were looking for? So there's no one answer. It's not one size fits all. It really depends on the organization and the industry, and also the problem that you're trying to solve and your organization's objectives. So yes, of course, it's a great opportunity, but we've got to make sure that we use it in the right way.
This episode of the HR Chat podcast is supported by Nebula Academy, a technology industry-focused workforce accelerator that offers learning programs to prepare individuals for successful careers. Our approach is centered around cognitive neuroscience research, combining the latest research and modern learning methods to create informative and psychologically safe learning experiences. Our programs enable individuals to achieve career readiness and immediate impact in their chosen field. Moreover, we help businesses create positive learning experiences, increase productivity, enhance team performance, and build upskilling resources to meet the needs of today's modern workplace. Learn more at nebulaacademy.com. Thanks, and now back to the HR Chat Show.
Okay, so follow up to my follow up. How important then are regulatory bodies and auditing to the AI tools that we use, so that those folks who are less technical but still are being encouraged to use generative technology within their business can at least feel some confidence that some of those inherent biases that they're worried about perhaps are being checked somewhere along the line?
Yeah, no, that's so important, right? As you say, not all the organizations and not all leaders have the opportunity to know the technology very well, to get the right training. So having a regulatory framework, having some more consistency there, like consistent framework across industries and across organizations would definitely help, right? At least we would know what's lawful and what's ethical, right? Because it always comes down to that grey area where, well, we've got to take decisions, but we don't know what's the right one, or we don't know what to do. And there's always going to be a grey area, between ethics and the law. But if we can try and have some more consistent frameworks, then surely will make our life easier, and perhaps we could see more successful implementations.
I feel like that's coming. I mean, you look at regulations in California and New York, for example. But at the moment, I also feel like we're kind of in the Wild West when it comes to all of these different technologies which are popping up all over the place. They feel like they've got free range to an extent, and we don't quite know. Don't quite understand the technologies behind them, the data sets, and all the rest of it. But anyway, this is not an interview with me; it's an interview with you. So let's continue through, sir. So today we are focused mainly on leadership and change, and you are teaching a module at ARU on exactly that. Before we get into the details of that module, Andrea, what's something that's changed for you, either in your personal life or your professional life, in the last year?
I think the biggest change has been working full-time in academia. As I said, I was working for a consultancy as well before, and as an associate lecturer at Anglia Ruskin University. And last year I changed completely the focus on took a different steer to my career path, and I'm full time in academia now. So I've got the opportunity to make a bigger impact in in the education sector, in the modules that I teach. And obviously, the content and, thinking about long term, how does that fit within education, and how does that fit within, the latest trends? We talked about AI. How does that fit within, the future, the future of work, and the most current trends. So I got an opportunity to review and reshape the module, as you mentioned, leadership and change. And I'm very looking forward to, delivering for the first time in trimester 2, so starting from January 2025.
For me, I think the two biggest changes over the past year are we had baby number 2. That was a big one. And also, I mean, I wear hats most of the times, I don't mind, but my hairline is changing quite a lot at the moment as I roll into my 40s, which makes me sad. But there we go. Okay, let's continue through then. Can you now share some of the topics covered in the module that we've mentioned so far, and why are they critical for today's leaders?
I think I'll start from the fact that we live in a rapidly changing world, don't we? And when I think about leadership, I think about those leaders that are faced with many grand challenges that, really go beyond traditional business concerns and have, many far-reaching implications for the organization and the society. So we thought to implement this in our modules and focusing on three core challenges: digital transformation, climate change, and EDI. And just because these challenges are, the more growing and changing trends, and really at the forefront of leadership, because they, let's be honest, they shape the future of our world, of our society, and therefore of organizations. And I think they really define those kind of leaders that the world needs, because it all comes down to that. We try and prepare our students for the world of work. So digital transformation in terms of embracing AI, as we've just discussed, automation, data-driven decision making, while also thinking about the risks of that digital disruption. With the rise of Industry 5.0, we're seeing a shift towards keeping humans at the center of that technological advancement, emphasizing collaboration between humans and machines to enhance productivity, while realizing that we need to preserve human creativity and empathy. So this is very crucial for leaders, because we talked about adoption before, and failing to understand and adapt that will mean falling behind in an increasingly competitive landscape where human-centered leadership and innovation really becomes the differentiator within organization. And then the climate crisis, and I want to stress climate crisis rather than climate change. We're hearing a lot, especially in the past couple of weeks, about COP and what's going on there. And the bottom line is that the world demands those leaders that think long term and beyond quarterly profits, and those that take responsibility for the environmental impact of their organization. And obviously, leadership in sustainability is about driving innovation, okay? Innovation that aligns with the environmental goals, with the sustainable development goals, ensuring the future viability of the business, while, at the same time contributing positively to the society. So we talk about the concept of steward leadership, and it's central here, with a focus of balancing growth and ethical responsibilities. Steward leaders are, those that create value by integrating the needs of the society, of the stakeholders, the future generations, and the environment. So we really want our students here to understand that it's more than skills, right? It's a matter of mindset, okay? So we want to take their own leadership to the next level. So they must understand that if we don't address it today, then we'll destroy our planet and the humanity within it. So whilst in the past, I'm sure, this wasn't even mentioned in leadership and change modules, and we were only focusing on pursuing self-interest, while being law-abiding citizens. Nowadays, not doing any harm is just not good enough. We must proactively do good. And so aspiring leaders, all of our students must understand that and embrace the ideas of steward leadership. And as I mentioned, the third pillar will be EDI, and that's a bit interconnected to sustainability, because leaders must foster that, those diverse and inclusive workplaces that reflect the broader society that we're living into, and with all that complexity that comes within it. And we understand that diversity nowadays just goes beyond cultural and ethnic backgrounds. It includes gender, age, neurodiversity, diversity of thoughts, and organizations that really embrace these various elements of diversity perform better. Okay, there's research shows that they perform better, they're more innovative, they work more effectively, and they benefit from gaining a richer range of perspective from the whole teams. So that's very important to the module. We want our students to understand that leaders must cultivate an environment where everybody feels valued and everybody's unique contributions are recognized and celebrated. And it's not easy, right? The ability to navigate all these challenges will ultimately determine whether a leader can guide their organizations towards sustained success in an uncertain and complex world. And addressing these challenges is really no longer an option. Okay, it's no longer a nice to have. It's just a necessity for the leaders of tomorrow.
I'm now going to challenge you to answer in 60 seconds or less. How have you developed the module to prepare students to tackle some of those challenges that you just mentioned?
There's a few things there, and I'll try to put it in 60 seconds, Bill. I think incorporating practical elements is key, right? I've talked about leadership and change. There's a lot of theory behind it, and in order to really understand these challenges and how to overcome them, we've designed some student-led sessions, some real-world leadership challenges and activities that students can engage with to put into practice what they learn. We also place a great emphasis on self-reflection because it's a vital leadership skills, and that's integrated into the module assessment through a reflective portfolio assignment. So in that way, rather than just being a one single large essay or report, we just break it down into more, manageable reflective pieces that students can work on week by week. We've also designed the module to ensure an inclusive, engaging, interactive environment that enhances both academic development and employability at the same time. So we've included some interactive, talking digital as we did before, some digital tools that will definitely help, provide some real-time insights to the students and really see how their learning is going. And I guess that way they will be more accessible, more immersive, and more engaging for all the students.
Lovely answer, but it was not in under 60 seconds, Andrea. So I'm going to challenge you again, okay? Because I like to do that sometimes, because I'm me. Okay, so in under 60 seconds, how do you envisage the future of leadership education evolving?
That's really hard in 60 seconds, Bill, but looking at the future, I think leadership education will definitely become more interdisciplinary and globally connected. We talked about technology, we talked about some pressing grand challenges, we talked about climate change, inclusivity, digital transformation. So I really think it's fundamental to reshape the leadership landscape, and that's what we're trying to involve and implement in the module. However, we know that one of the biggest challenges we face in leadership is in SMEs adoption. So we talk about that within our activities. We've seen so many companies failing, and that really raises an important question, right? So what's the best way to teach our students, and how can we train them? How can we teach them to be ready when they go and work? So we've got at MBA level, obviously we've got leadership and change, but there's there's an opportunity for a help to grow program that we offer as well. So I think embedding both academic and practical workshops, we can equip our students as best as we can. Was the 60 seconds? 61.
I think it might have been about, actually. Yeah, good work on that one. All right. Okay, that's a reprieve. Well done. Okay, you and I, we are hanging out with Francisco and the ARU gang at a groovy, festive meetup on December 5th, which is a couple of weeks as we record this episode today. It's going to be in Cambridge, of course, just around the corner from ARU at the tram depot. I'm looking forward to seeing you again in person. I might even buy the first round. What about that? What else is coming up for you apart from that cool meetup? What else is coming up for you in the next year? And any events that you're speaking at or attending, or any other activities that you want to highlight?
Yeah, Bill, you've just reminded me that I need to get my Christmas jumper, but that's a side note. But what's coming up? So I'm presenting at a conference talking about AI in Lisbon. So I'm really looking forward to that, especially to a warmer weather, and talking about that 0 degrees now in Cambridge. And so yeah, I will be presenting a conference. Really looking forward to meet other academics and experts in the industry. I'm also looking forward to challenge myself in other short, sharp 30 seconds per slide the Disrupt HR, Bill. So we'll catch up on that. And please do stay connected, both on the website and with myself on LinkedIn. And I guess, try to also from January in the new year, we'll be quite busy with teaching. We've got a few events coming up at ARU. So I guess, research. There will be a lot of research coming out of that, and surely I'm looking forward to present all this at Disrupt HR and the conference in Lisbon.
Okay, thank you. And watch this space. Disrupt Cambridge co-organizer James Hems is busy negotiating with Francisco and the team right now about doing a whole bunch more in 2025 with ARU. So that's terribly exciting, but we can't tell you too much. But for those in the Cambridge area, watch this space. You'll be welcome to join us. Just finally for today then, in terms of connecting with you, what are the best ways to do that, Andrea? Is that LinkedIn? Do you want to share your email address? I bet you're super cool and all over Instagram and TikTok and places. And of course, if they want to learn more about ARU, how can our listeners do that?
Of course, it would be my pleasure. Well, surely LinkedIn. Nowadays it's all about LinkedIn, isn't it? I don't even have any business cards anymore. You just go around with QR codes. But yes, LinkedIn, that's where I'm, mainly active on. I don't do TikTok, Bill, so that was the wrong guess. I don't do any TikTok, but perhaps in the future we'll see. I can do TikTok when I teach leadership and change next trimester. That's a good suggestion. No, I would say LinkedIn. My personal email, sure, is andrea.divetta@gmail.com. Quite easy. Please do mind the spelling of my Italian name, which is not that common. It's not Andrea, or it's not Andre, but it's Andrea. And so please do reach out, right? You can find me on the ARU website. By all means, we're always looking forward to engage and connect with academics and industry experts. So if you're listening and you're an HR expert, which I'm sure you will be, then please do reach out, right? We're always happy to have guest speakers and arrange some activities and events here at ARU. So there are a lot of opportunities around the corner. So I'm looking forward to connect with you. Bill, I'm looking forward to connect with you soon in December and catch up. And I'm going to get my Christmas jumper soon.
I've got a couple of pretty bad dad Christmas jumpers, so look out for those. Andrea, it's always a pleasure chatting to you, my friends. I appreciate your time today. Thank you very much for being my guest.
Thank you very much, Bill. Thanks, everybody.
And listeners, as always, until next time, happy working.
Thanks for listening to the HR Chat Show. If you enjoyed this episode, why not subscribe and listen to some of the hundreds of episodes published by HR Gazette? And remember, for what's new in the world of work, subscribe to the show, follow us on social media, and visit hrgazette.com.
This episode of the HR Chat podcast is supported by Deal. Are you looking for an all-in-one solution to manage your global workforce? With Deal, you can easily onboard global employees, streamline payroll processes, and ensure local compliance, all in one flexible, scalable platform. Join thousands of companies who trust Deal with their global HR needs. Visit Deal.com today, that's DEEL.com, to see how you can start managing your global team with unmatched speed, flexibility, and compliance. Thanks, and we hope you enjoy this HR Chat episode.